kid, my dad was a fan of mystery novels. He used to go to the library all the time, bring home several books, read them all night long. He'd read Ed McBain, Raymond Chandler, and of course Rex Stout. His favorite probably was Rex Stout from the Nero Wolfe series. And he used to talk to me about that series every once in a while, try to convince me that that's what I should be reading. But at the time, I was into science fiction, and I was reading Asimov and Bradbury and Heinlein. But as I got older, I decided that I wanted to see what my dad was talking about. So I got a hold of a couple of Rex Stout novels and read them. And I was hooked. They were so good. They were fantastic. I kept reading them and tried to learn as much as I could about the background of the stories. And I learned that they'd been inspired by Conan Doyle, and that I decided then I should read the Sherlock Holmes canon. So I got a couple of those. In fact, I can't find it right now. But anyway, I have a complete set of Sherlock Holmes somewhere. And so I read through those and was still reading the Nero Wolfe stories. In fact, at the time, I was working as a traveling portrait photographer, and I would get books on tape to listen to as I was driving. And so it was like just getting ingrained in my mind. Well, one day, I had come home from a trip, and I was sleeping. And I kid you not, I had a dream. And the dream was that I was visiting a local parish priest for some reason. And so as I'm visiting the priest, he gets up to leave the office, and I notice it's a little compact sitting on the desk, so I pick it up and I start to look through it. And he comes in, he stops, turns pale white, and says, "Put that down. You have to put that down." I said, "Well, what is it?" And he says, "It's anointing oil." I said, "Well, what's the big deal?" He says, "It's the anointing oil that I use when I give last rites. And it's tainted. It's poison. And I use it to put people out of their miseries." And when I woke up, I thought, wow, that was so weird. What gave me that? What put that in my head? And it actually inspired me to write a mystery novel about it. Well, I decided that I wouldn't just write any mystery novel about it. I would write a pastiche of Nero Wolfe, because I had recently learned that Nero Wolfe was a pastiche of Conan Doyle. And so that's where the inspiration for my first story came from. I had to do a lot of research. I got books on poisons. I got books on police detective work. I just did all this research and gradually wrote a novel over about a year's period. When I went back and looked at this novel and read it afterwards, I thought, this is really good. I really like what I've done here. So I decided to write a second one. So I needed inspiration for that. Well, I had been recently, at that point in time, I was doing a lot of research on Thomas Paine. I live in an area of Ohio called Jefferson County. And the town that I live in is named after the largest city in Canada. So I decided to set another story of the detective that I created in Ohio, in a county named after, instead of Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine. So it's set in Paine County, and the city that I use is called Mississauga, which is the second largest city in Canada. And everything built around this story is built around my community, except that the names are all changed. Everything in the book is based on this city. And I decided to just write a story about something that could have happened here. And a friend of mine who's an engineer had told me about an idea that he had regarding electrical grids and stuff. And so I incorporated all that, and that's where the second story came from. So that was the inspiration for the series and how the series came about. In my next installment, I'll tell you the inspiration for the story that I'm working on currently for NaNoWriMo. If you're interested in NaNoWriMo and want to get involved as well, please join me and my nano buddy, LizardLass, at NaNoWriMo. Links in the bottom, in the underbar.